Big thanks to everyone who came by to the Transformer Slag YouTube stream yesterday. We had Jaws D on the show, and we answered, a whole bunch of questions that people were shooting. A lot of people showed up. It was a great time. Now we're going to get into a topic that came up quite a bit, and it was brought up a lot on the Transformer Slag Discord, and it's just been a heated discussion, which is, what is this Transformers Studio Series 86 kind of thing going on? And, you know, I made the mention many times, like how, you know, Hasbro really needs to fill out that line because sooner or later you're going to run out of characters. And people interpreted that there's not a lot of characters left. And I actually have on my computer, I have a text file of pretty much what is left for Studio Series to do realistically until they run out of ideas, and why, again, I could see how bringing in the 86 movie is more of a reality. And as people start to really take apart, like that recent Cyclonus that started showing up and the rumors that that's going to be with the Studio Series 86 line, and people are looking at that and going like, you know, if it's supposed to be an Earthrise toy, why doesn't it have any of those like combat peg holes on it at all? And granted, yes, we can't see the toy from every angle, but at least the alt mode, you know, outside of the one spot that it could have its gun plug into, it doesn't have any. And from what we could see of the underside, which shows a lot of the robot mode, we don't see much of it either. But again, we don't see every angle, so we don't know. But it is a valid argument. If there is no combat peg points on there, it really kind of relegates it to probably another kind of toy line. And that's where something like Studio Series 86 could be a reality. And it's not really another toy line completely. It's just he's added to the Studio Series line. So let's go into what still has to be done by Studio Series. What is the leftover characters? And here's my list. And if there's something I forgot, let me know. But I feel that this was pretty much a pretty well put together list. I did this about, I want to say 2 months ago. And so like, we'll just go by movie to movie. So in the 2007 movie, Michael Bay first movie, Transformers, pretty much the only ones that are missing at this point is we didn't get a proper Studio Series Frenzy, in that something that would be to scale. You know, oddly enough, Studio Series Barricade didn't come with a Frenzy. And all the Studio Series figures thus far that have had stuff that are kind of Frenzy scale, whether it be, you know, Wheelie or Brains, or even some of the smaller guys too, like the mini Dinobots, you know, they're always more of an accessory. And Frenzy has just been one of those characters that have not gotten that yet. Maybe it's because they kind of want to do him more justice down the line with a bigger price point. Who knows? And the only other two I could really think of is we have the Protoform body, which, I mean, could be applied to anybody. It could be Optimus, could be Ironhide, but we just don't have a Protoform body, which did appear in the movie, so that is a model that could be used. And then the more generic characters like Dispensor, you know, the Mountain Dew bot. He doesn't have a figure yet. I don't think chances are it's probably not going to happen. I mean, we got the one from Japan, which was like not really 100% Dispensor. It is Dispensor, but it's not really the Mountain Dew bot per se. It's more of a different interpretation. If you stand up the truck, you could pretend it's a vending machine. And the same thing applies to all the other like Allspark activated bots, like the Nokia bot, like the Xbox bot, like the steering wheel that, you know, grabbed that girl's face when the Allspark, you know, let off its energy. So like all of those, even those ones that I just mentioned, they could be little like accessories included with some random leader class toy in the future. But at the end of the day, like those ones are more of a stretch in my opinion. But I put them there just in case if you want to have some kind of random leader class toy like a Grindor, and you want to include 2 or 3 little extra bonuses. You could include a Frenzy. You could include a Nokia bot just to fill it out. You know, give someone more bang for their buck. That's pretty much it for 2007. Going into Revenge of the Fallen 2009, we have here, first of all, Bumblebee Revenge of the Fallen. Now, granted, there is rumors of one coming from recent listings, so that is a strong possibility that will be removed from the list. I'll believe it when I see it, when we have packaging confirmed, but the rumor is this one is coming. Then we have Skids and Mudflap, the Ice Cream Twins. Again, another one that really outside of its initial release, outside of that one deluxe toy. Really hasn't gotten anything, and Studio Series doesn't have that. And then that goes the same for regular skids and regular mud flap, just them in their initial basic modes. Those two didn't get anything either. Here's one that I'm surprised they didn't do even as just like some kind of store exclusive. Ratchet, in his mild repaint that he had in Revenge of the Fallen, which was more like, we call it the Nest color schemes, which he had like a Nest logo and stuff like that. It's very similar to that of how he looked in the 2007 movie, but little tweaks here and there because now he's working with Nest. So I'm surprised that wasn't even just like a store exclusive, or even like some weird, like I could picture like Japan Lawson's DVD exclusive or something, or Japan, Toys R Us Japan exclusive, or some kind of weird China exclusive even. I'm surprised they didn't even do that yet. But then again, they have all the time in the world to drop that on us, so who knows. Here's one too that also, these two, both of the two that I'm going to mention are ones that are also rumored to be coming soon: Sideswipe and Jolt. Jolt, of course, again, didn't do much in the movie outside of hooking up Optimus to his Jetwing Optimus parts, or Jet Power Optimus, depending on which side of the ocean. But, he was in the movie, and he does deserve to get a brand new Studio Series toy. He did appear on screen. He got plenty of toys during Revenge of the Fallen, different scales and everything, even the fast action battlers and all of that, and up to legend scale, and all kinds of repaints, but no Studio Series. And again, Sideswipe, I'm surprised it's taken this long, but I mean, there's other Sideswipe Studio Series. We just never got the Revenge of the Fallen one. And again, the rumors are it's coming soon for those two, so we'll see when that happens. And then when we get more to the Decepticon side, number one, we have Ravage, which supposedly is rumored to be coming with Grindor. So if Grindor is, slated to come, which will be the next one after Ravage here, then Ravage is also going to be coming with him. So Grindor and Ravage, we don't have those yet, but there's rumors that those two are coming. Is Ravage going to be something more of a legend scale? Is it going to be something that's more of an accessory scale, very tiny and doesn't transform? Or is it going to be something even larger than that does have some kind of articulation? We don't know. Then we have Scalpel. Again, someone that chances are would probably end up being more of an accessory. He was the one that turned into the microscope, and he had the little, I guess we'll call it the hair doctor, the little legs there and stuff. Then we have some, again, weird ones from the Decepticon side, like Reedman. Reedman was the little, bag of knives, I want to call it, that infiltrated the human base to get some stuff with Ravage. Will he get a figure? Probably an accessory included with something. Same thing here's one, Alice, the technically Pretender. Obviously would be an impossible toy to do. That's for sure. Would never be able to happen. But, I mean, they could probably do an accessory just of her robot mode. Maybe a little statuette figure that's similar to that of what Quintessa got, with the Last Night line. Who knows? But, again, Alice, I'll put her on the list just for the sake of completionist. Now let's move more to more realistic stuff like Sideways, beginning of the movie, Sideways. Hey, where's his figure? Didn't happen yet. Waiting for that one. Same thing with the Insecticons. That one would be interesting because if you want to talk about scale, the Insecticons are tiny as heck. Like they're smaller than like the pretty much the tip of your finger. How would you make that for something to scale with the Studio Series stuff? So I mean, that might be a tougher one to do if they even want to do it at all. Just because it wouldn't work from a scale wise, no matter how big you would make the figure. You just have to settle for the one Insecticon toy we have, the actual one. And then there's all those generics, all those generic people, like, there's the generic-looking Bone Crusher that was in the desert scenes near Egypt. Demolishor, who was at the beginning of the movie, which is, he's kind of supposed to be, I guess, a white Scavenger from Devastator. So technically, if you want to take Scavenger from Devastator and give him a white repaint, then you'll have Demolishor from the beginning of the movie. But even then, that one's kind of a stretch. And it's the same thing when you get to even more of the generics when you're talking like, hey, remember when Sam activated the Allspark shard and all the stuff in his kitchen went crazy and we got stuff like crazy Blender Dickbot and everything? So, I mean, do you count those? Do you want to do those too? Same thing with the Dynasty of the Primes when, he kind of entered the Matrix. Do you use those generic designs that we didn't even see very well? And then that falls into the last one, no pun intended, the Fallen. We haven't gotten a Fallen figure. No announcement yet of the Fallen getting a figure. Long overdue, in my opinion, to get something really nice that's really accurate. And it's been a while, a long time. And I mean, people were rumoring for the longest time when there was the Transformers, the movie, The Best line, which was available in Japan only, where they were taking pre-existing molds and giving them really good paint schemes. And people thought they were going to finally take that, the second release of The Fallen, during Reveal the Shield, that had like the weird blue ice kind of color scheme and the removable face. And they thought they were just going to give it a really good repaint and make it more movie accurate and release it in that. It never happened. So yeah, you know, that's another one too that's kind of still hanging on the shelves. No sign of anything happening. Next movie, Dark of the Moon. So first listing here, that we have something that says it's coming, but we have no, clear indication that it's true or not. But we got Dino/Mirage, the Ferrari Transformer. And this one became difficult, I mean, for multiple reasons. Ferrari is very tough to get their license to use it with different products and everything. And that's why whenever we did get a Dino/Mirage toy, it never was accurate to that Ferrari design. If we finally do get a Dino/Mirage figure in Studio Series, is it going to be a Ferrari? So that's still something that I'm very confused by, if that is going to happen. But they say that there's listings coming and that it's in the pipes, so we'll see what happens. Same thing with another character that has kind of two names here, Q, aka Wheeljack. No indication thus far for getting anything of him, but we don't have anything yet. And then we have, to complete the trio, we got the two Wreckers already, but we're missing Leadfoot. And Leadfoot, and this is just my own opinion, I think that the primary problem with Leadfoot is because when Studio Series is all about accuracy and looking like how you look on the movie, Leadfoot has the biggest problem by having the sponsors of Target right on him. So I think that what probably Hasbro is waiting for is to strike a deal with Target where he'll probably be, no surprise, a Target exclusive. So that will kind of suck for people that want to complete their trio of Wreckers from Dark of the Moon. But at the same time, I kind of understand what's going on here and why we haven't gotten Leadfoot yet, primarily because he has that big Target logo. And I imagine like somewhere like, Walmart, or even imagine Walmart, and they have like a sea of Leadfoots with the Target logo on it. Like I'm pretty sure they don't want to do that. And same thing with Toys R Us or other companies. And then again, we get into obscure stuff like, how about, the drill monster from Shockwave? Where's that? Or completing the trio with the Dreads. We got Crowbar, we got Hatchet in Studio Series, but we got Crowbar, and we got the other one whose name escapes me right now, but we didn't get Hatchet, which was the animal one. So where's that one? Maybe they're just waiting for the right opportunity. Maybe they just don't feel that they want to waste the time releasing yet another of the same kind of alt mode. Maybe they want to create a distance before they do that. Who knows? But that's pretty much it for Dark of the Moon. That one doesn't have that many left to do. Then when we get into Age of Extinction and The Last Night, that's when we get the bulk of stuff that's still missing, primarily because around the time that Age of Extinction was being put together, Studio Series was slowly being planned behind the scenes. When The Last Night was getting released, Studio Series was literally in its packaging stage, like still not out yet, but they already had the plans. So when we're going to go through these two movies, you're going to see why there's so many. So Age of Extinction, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Hound, Crosshairs, Scorn, one of the Dinobots, Slug, one of the Dinobots, Strafe, one of the Dinobots, Galvatron himself. All of those guys have not gotten Studio Series designs. Then when we look at, like, say, someone like Drift, we have like a blue Drift that turns into the helicopter, but we don't have a blue Drift that turns into the car because he's a triple changer. But just like Shafter and stuff, they can't engineer both in one, so we get one or the other. But we have a blue Drift design that turns into the helicopter for Age of Extinction, but we don't have blue Drift that turns into a car yet. And it's been confirmed in the movie that he turns into a car, so we're still missing that one. Then you have like the KSI agent that is blue. excuse me, that's red, like the ones that pretty much look like Stinger. We had Stinger done as a Studio Series toy, but the KSI agents, we don't have one that is red all alone. We have a blue one, but I think that's why they did that. I think they were like, well, let's do a KSI agent in blue and release Stinger in red in the Studio Series line, and that's that. We don't want to have two red ones together because how different are they from each other? I could understand their logic, but at the same time, you know, we're still missing a screen accurate red colored KSI Sentry, you know, unit. And then the last one of that of generics, Steeljaw, one of the animal crew members, the I guess we'll call it a tiger or whatever, crew member from Lockdown's crew. He appeared on his ship, never got a Studio Series release, but maybe one day. And then getting into, again, The Last Night, which was when The Last Night was being planned at the exact same time Studio Series was on its way to be released. So we're going to get a whole bunch here too. We have Optimus Prime from The Last Night. Doesn't have a Studio Series toy right now. Bumblebee. Now there's rumors that there was listings along with Dino that there's they listed it as TF6 Bumblebee. But TF6 would technically be the Bumblebee movie in my mind, because, you know, the sixth Transformers movie would be, I guess, the Bumblebee movie. But if now you count the 86 movie, then technically The Last Night is the sixth movie. So I'm going to think that this TF6 Bumblebee listing is The Last Night, because, I mean, they covered all the Bumblebee movie stuff pretty much in Studio Series for the Bumblebee movie. So I think this is a Last Night listing. Hot Rod that turns into a Lamborghini. Hot Rod that turns into that old-timey car before that. The only Hot Rod Studio Series thing we got was World War II Hot Rods. So where's the Hot Rods for that? Then we have Drift, but we got a Drift that turns into a red car. Where's the Drift that turns into a red helicopter? Assuming he turns into a red helicopter. Problem is, Drift didn't have a big role in The Last Night, so we don't really know much of Red Drift, if you will. We have a red car Drift. He came with I think the other one came with the little Dinobots. I think the blue one did, but there's no red helicopter Drift toy. I'm not saying this one is necessary. Do we need it? But if it is factual within the continuity, where is that one? Then we're talking Squeaks. Where is Squeaks? He didn't get a The Last Night Studio Series figure. What about the weird ones here? Day Trader, the weapons dealer. Where's Canopy, the one that got killed? Spoiler. That'd be a weird figure if they do one. Then you have Bulldog, who was Sir Edmund Burton, which was one of his, like, I guess, old-timey tank characters that were hanging around. And the other character that was with him, Lieutenant, which was like a Spitfire that also was like, one of the old-timey Transformers that was with him at his estate. So you got those weird guys too. Are they necessary? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, it's here on the list for that reason. Then, of course, Megatron. No Studio Series Megatron yet from the Last Night design. Barricade's new design. It's not there. Here's a funny one. Nitro Zeus never officially got a Studio Series release, even though his mold was used for other Studio Series stuff. So when you think about it, like, because Studio Series Thundercracker and Studio Series KSI Boss Agent were used for the Studio Series line, and they used the Nitro Zeus mold. So in my mind, if you want a Studio Series Nitro Zeus, I guess you just use your Last Night version, unless they want to take that one and repaint it better and then use it in the Studio Series line, much like they did with Cogman. So as it stands right now, we don't have a Studio Series Nitro Zeus, but you kind of do, just not officially in a lot of ways. And then you're talking Dreadbot and Berserker. Again, all those characters that were the captured Decepticons. Both of those just kind of used the Crowbar mold, which was a Studio Series design, so you could kind of, I guess, buy extras of those and pretend that those are them and repaint them. And then Mohawk and Onslaught, two more of those, here's these Decepticons and then they're gone characters too. Mohawk never got any kind of toy whatsoever. So that's a really weird one also. And then you get into Quintessa and Infernicus and the whole crew of them. They never got Studio Series toys. They just kind of got their one and done The Last Night toy. So maybe a Quintessa in the future as an accessory to something. or not, who knows. And then the crazy ones of them all the Guardian Knights, Dragonstorm, Storm Rain, Dragonicus, Steelbane, Skeletron, the Talisman Knights, like all of those designs. I mean, if you want to do something that's studio series, the sizes would obviously have to be Voyager or larger. So, I mean, in the case of Dragonstorm, that'd be a crazy one. I almost feel if they want to do something movie accurate, it might be impossible to do. But who knows? I mean, that's something that if they do want to tackle it one day, it will be a crazy venture to do, so to speak. And then after that, we jump into the Bumblebee movie. And the Bumblebee movie, really, up to this point, the only stuff that's missing, because they literally covered everything up to this point, is just more background characters. So, like, that background character Ratchet in the Cybertronian scene, the background character RC, the background character Brawn, the background character Ironhide, Soundwave and Ravage, Starscream and the Seekers that we see, and Shockwave. So if they want to do studio series of those quick cameo characters, I guess so. I mean, hey, we got a Cliff Jumper coming, even though his moment was cut short, so to speak. So, and that's literally it. That's the list. Look, when you look at the list, it's a lot of guys. I listed definitely probably 36 characters here. But the reason why I feel that's still a short list is because Hasbro puts out between 8 and 10 studio series characters a year. And even if you factor in a movie coming out every year to kind of slow that down, which is fine, it still would mean that within 3 years, if they keep on trucking, they'll have nothing left. And then they'd have to heavily rely on new material. So this is something that's why I see the 86 movie being added making sense. That's why I see the 86 movie being added, because it also preconditions us to get us to go, okay, well, if they count animated movies, then any future animated movies that will be done in theaters, which we've heard are going to happen, will also be something part of the studio series line. So it looks like this is a good way to lengthen it, and to slowly we'll get all these characters at one point or another. But at least it now, again, Hasbro, from a business standpoint, is able to keep this studio series line going for 10 plus years. I mean, when you think about Transformer lines that have been around for so long, we really don't think about it. The Classics line has had to constantly be renamed. The Masterpiece line, even though it's probably the longest running line right now, isn't something that's common in America. We get, oh, hey, 20th anniversary Optimus Prime, and then we call it a Universe 2.0 release, and then we have it as a Masterpiece release with a fancy box. And then who knows, they might call it something else. America has a very weird naming convention with their lines over there, and Studio Series, as it stands right now, is the longest running consistent line if you don't count the original G1 Transformers line. That line, went, under the straight up Transformers brand for a huge chunk of time. Officially in America from 1984 to about 1991. Obviously, then it gets a little murky when you talk about the UK and stuff like that and different things. And obviously Japan kept going a little longer, but at least in the United States. So it's something where outside of the Generation 1 title, it's the first time that we've really had a consistent subline that's lasted that long with that name on top of it. So Studio Series has been around for quite a bit now, but how long is it going to last? And if they do want it to last a long time, they're going to have to pace themselves, because outside of, again, Masterpiece, if Masterpiece could count, which unfortunately Masterpiece has a spotty history here in America, Masterpiece would be considered one of the largest, if not the longest lines, because with the original 20th anniversary, which wasn't even called a Masterpiece back then, but 20th anniversary MPO-1 Optimus coming out in 2002, you're talking then, hey, Masterpiece has been around for almost 18 years. But that's not the case. Anyways, that's just something I just wanted to kind of lay out there. It's kind of a long form video here, but I'm pretty sure people would like to dive into it and have their own discussions. And if I did forget anybody, please put it below. It helps us all out so we could all, brainstorm here and see what's happening with the future of the brand. But that's my take. Here's what's left for Studio Series to do, essentially.